on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Monday. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you had a great weekend so far. Bitcoin is up 0.74%. However, by the time you see this video, it could be very different because we are currently trying to break out right now. You can see this morning we pushed up to about 7,112. We got rejected. We tried just again, like a few minutes ago, to get up to 7,108. We are pulling back, but currently we are trying to break out. If we don't, well then, you know, the price could probably be a lot lower by the time you see this video, but we do have a CME futures gap, which I'm going to get into in just a bit. And also we have one basically legendary trader who says he is not touching Bitcoin. And I want to look into his arguments and see if they're actually valid. That being said, thank you so much once again for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. You're the reason that I do this every single day. And of course, today is the Ledger Nano S giveaway. We give a Ledger away every single Monday. If you're interested, drop a comment on any video throughout the course of the week and you are eligible. Now, having a look at Bitcoin, we are still almost at that 66.6K level. We're at 66.5. So we did see some altcoins popping off. Mindle up again, 23%. Still no, I mean, this coin is up to number 17. I don't know what this coin is. Absolutely ridiculous. We have Aura, Stratus, Tomo Chain, Theta, Engine, Kyber, Molecular Futures, Silverway, and Waves all doing quite well. Having a look at the site that never loads, which is Coin Farm, we are actually looking mildly bullish, you could see, because we have been trying to push through all morning. Keep in mind, though, if we do get rejected enough times, we are going to fall the other way, but let's not talk about that just yet. We do have some things we need to go over. So having a look currently at Bitcoin, we did get supported by the center of the trend line in the descending wedge. So currently it is acting as support. You can see right here, we are still in no man's land. We're looking for a break above the 7.38 level, 7.4K level. And if we do, then we could potentially get back up to the 7.8 to 7.9K. If we break below $7,000, then we are looking to potentially fall back down to 6,500. Now, you can see right here, we are very, very, very close to the end of this, wedge, essentially right here. We've been held down. I basically took it from the bottom of this wick right here, but you can see it is actually holding as the support. However, it does look like basically before the end of the day, before the end of today, we're going to have a move. So depending on what time you're watching this video, like I said, the price could be very, very different. Actually zooming in, like basically if we zoom into this little triangle right here, essentially you could see we have tried once, twice, but we are getting rejected. Now keep in mind, if we keep getting rejected, we do risk falling all the way back down to the $7,000 level. And, you know, just a friendly reminder, the $7,000 level is the top of the red zone. So we definitely don't want to fall down to that level. However, you can see that we are having difficulty getting above this previous support turn resistance. And like I said, the reason why this is such an important resistance is because that was the support right here before we fell during that massive plummet that we had in November. Now, here is the good news. Short term, we do have this gap on CME futures, and that is sitting at around $7,239. So from where Bitcoin is currently right now at the time of making this video, that's about a 1.8% increase. So if you are, potentially doing something on leverage with a 5X, you could get a nice little 10% swing on that if we do go to the upside. But we do know, guys, that every single time we have a gap, these gaps do inevitably get closed. We are looking for a big move, a 20 to 30% move. The Bollinger Bands are tightening, and it probably is most likely going to happen within the next 24 to 48 hours. And once again, we are in what I believe to be sort of this reaccumulation stage. And, we are looking potentially for the beginning of the blast off. Could we have one more pullback? Absolutely. But guys, Gary Shilling, okay, the legendary investor, is calling Bitcoin a black box. And I actually want to play this for you super quick. And then I want to kind of discuss why his reasons are for not buying Bitcoin.
It's a black box, and I'm not a believer in black boxes. I recently met with a friend of mine, a West Coast venture capitalist, he was very early on this. He's made a lot of money and so on. And I cornered him at a cocktail party and I said, now listen, I want you to explain to me what this really is. Well, okay, it's a control deal and these miners and there are only so many of them. I said, well, how about the guys behind us? Well, nobody, we think we know. But I just, this actually back in the South Sea bubble, which is one of the great speculations, and there's a book by a guy named Mackay. It's a classic book, but he describes in there this South Sea bubble, which was one of the great speculations. And this one guy comes out and he puts an ad in the paper. He said, great discovery, wonderful investment, but I won't tell you the details. And a lot of suckers in London invested in this. And the last line was, this guy collected all the money, closed up, left for the continent that evening, never to be heard of again. I'm just very suspicious of things that are not transparent. If I can't understand it, I don't want to invest in it.
Okay, so I do have a few things to say right now. The South Sea bubble, we're going to get to that analogy in just a second. I do agree with him. If you don't understand something, you shouldn't invest in that. That's actually good advice, okay? Let's see now. As far as Bitcoin being a black box, well, Bitcoin is open source, okay? Anybody can literally go and look at the code and see what Bitcoin is doing. They can see the inner workings, okay? So I can't agree with Bitcoin being a black box, okay? Then the second thing he says is that it's not transparent. Bitcoin isn't transparent? You guys do know that it's the worst thing to use for criminals, right? In fact, every single transaction is recorded on a ledger for everyone to see, and literally all of the statistics on Bitcoin are currently actively available for anyone to search at any time. In fact, it's probably the most transparent network on the face of planet Earth. Now, getting on to his topic of the South Sea bubble. Well, I did pull up something on it, and in case you don't know what it is, essentially in 1720, in return for a loan of £7 million to finance the war against France, the House of Lords passed the South Sea Bill, which allowed the South Sea Company a monopoly in trade with South America. So essentially, shares immediately rose to 10 times their value, speculation ran wild, and all sorts of companies, some lunatic, some fraudulent, or just optimistic, were launched. Now, what does this remind us of?
Duck season. Rabbit season. 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 Duck season.
Altcoins! So yeah, you can see one company floated was to buy the Irish bogs, another to manufacture a gun to fire square cannonballs, and the most ludicrous of all for carrying on an undertaking of great advantage, but no one to know what it is. So there you go. Essentially, something that, like what Gary Shilling said, right? So in a sense, I can kind of see this argument almost pertaining more to like altcoins, right? Where we were basically having like, you know, altcoins for lollipops on the blockchain, right? There was just way too much speculation. But talking about Bitcoin, let's have a look at Bitcoin. I mean, I'm not going to go into all the details, guys, but having a look essentially at what Rhythm Trader posted over here, you know, in just 10 years, Bitcoin has mined 600 blocks, 480 million transactions, 18 million coins have been minted. I'm not going to go into all this, but yeah, essentially 6,000 lightning nodes, 99.98 uptime since inception. Yes, you heard me right. In 10 plus years, the Bitcoin network has only been down 0.02% of the time. And guess what? That was very, very early on in the days. And also, it has created 10 years of higher lows in price, right? I don't have to show you the Bitcoin chart. Higher low, higher low, higher low, right, guys? So not too sure about those arguments about it being a black box and no transparency, but in a recent interview with Dan Morehead, and he is behind, Pantera Capital, right? He basically talks about Bitcoin's use case and says that getting in right now is a good opportunity. Now, he talks about in the early days, a lot of people ignored it. They didn't see the value in it. They didn't see it as a good opportunity for investment. Well, look at it today, right? On the other hand, he believes that Bitcoin is a disruptive technology that can impact at least 50 different industries. He goes into name things like voting, cross-border money movement, electronic payments, remittances, identity, right? And more. He also noted that many believe that blockchain will fail, but even that if it happens, he does expect that a number of use cases will survive. Now listen, guys, blockchain does not solve everything, right? That narrative is getting old. Sometimes things actually are better centralized. They really are. I know we don't want to admit that, but they are. But you know what though? When it comes to like privacy and money and things like that, then yes, I do prefer having that to be more decentralized, right? When asked what he expects as far as Bitcoin being a currency, he pointed out that we already have 200 currencies on Earth. You know, we really don't need any more. We need a single currency because many of these countries and their people would benefit from it greatly. So let's get back to this discussion just for fun, right? Because, you know, Peter Schiff's probably tweeting about Bitcoin right now, right? I love this article that came out from Sylvain Sorel, Bitcoin facing gold and fiat currencies on 10 essential properties of money. Let's go through this super quick. I don't want to waste your time, but let's have a look, okay? So number one, history. Well, obviously gold wins that one. It's been around longer, but What is that saying? It's been around longer. Okay. Lindy effect. We'll take it, right? Number 2, decentralization. Well, obviously, Bitcoin is more decentralized than gold and fiat currencies. Censorship resistance. Obviously, this is Bitcoin once again. Scarcity. Well, clearly Bitcoin, right? We can always mine new gold. There's gold potentially at the bottom of the ocean. One day we'll figure out how to mine that as well. Forget about fiat, we can just print as much as we want, right? Looking at divisibility, well, I mean, it's obviously a lot easier to divide something that is digital rather than scraping it off on the counter, then melting it back at night, right? Security, well, we do know that Bitcoin has the most secure network on planet Earth. I don't have to go into that. Fungibility, now here's where it gets a little weird. Because Bitcoin is traceable, you can trace Bitcoin far enough where you could potentially be having a piece of Bitcoin that's been tainted, right? You know, you could be accidentally holding some Bitcoin from the Silk Road or something like that. So Bitcoin is not technically fungible. Gold, I guess, would take over Bitcoin in this sense. Portability, come on, let's be honest, guys. Put it on your ledger, get on a plane, all your money's with you. Or don't even take your ledger with you. Leave it here and then buy a new one and put in your private key, right? Durability, here's an interesting thing. So, I mean, technically, gold is very difficult, right, to break whatever Bitcoin. If the internet was to go down, I suppose. Although they do have things like GoTenna, right? You could send Bitcoin essentially through like, satellites and stuff like that. And verifiability, once again, I think we can safely say that Bitcoin is the winner. So out of like 10 of these, Bitcoin took 8 out of 10. So yeah, I'm not too sure what Gary Shilling is talking about here, but let's talk about some altcoin news and then let's get on out of here because it is Monday, guys. It is back on the grind. Skeptical cryptocurrency exchange Bitcoin.com has sparked fresh controversy after supporting the trading of Richard Hart's Bitcoin Hex. Now, we haven't really gone into Hex too much on this channel. It wasn't really something that particularly interested me, but you can see right here explaining the decision. They claim that they wish to offer security to those looking to trade the coin with little overall trading. They basically did about 0.81 Bitcoin in the past 24 hours. However, between the two pairs, Hex BCH and Hex ETH, it has dropped by 64% and 57% respectively. So that's not looking to be a great start for a coin that's promising 10,000x returns. But Hex's so-called origin address will control around 45% of the entire Hex supply. Just 1 year after the launch, this launch will be achieved by claiming a constant stream of Hex tokens from various types of transactions, while Richard Hart will also keep the ETH from purchases. Richard Hart seeks to downplay the existence of the origin address despite its likely status as a giant centralized repository capable of crashing the entire Hex market with a single sell-off. Now, let me know what you guys think about Hex. There is this article that came out by Goldman Sachs. I read this, it came out on December 6th, and this was the top highlight. It says, not only will Richard control close to half of all Hex after the first year, but if the first token I have seen to have it's the first token I've seen to have its founder's perpetual self-enrichment baked into the protocol. So, once again, guys, let me know what you think about Hex. I'm not going to come out here and bash anything, say this or that. Is it a scam? You let me know. But what I do think is, as far as the snapshot was concerned, I didn't have a problem with that. All Bitcoin holders, you get a snapshot, you get airdrop some Hex. That was cool, right? Just airdropping some free tokens. The part that got a little bit weird to me was when they also offered the opportunity to send in the ETH, and then you would get, the coins in return, because that's essentially just an ICO. So, let me know what you guys think about it. I didn't participate. I don't have any Hex, so that's basically that situation. But here's something that kind of ties into, how Matic had that really big dump the other day? Binance has recently started disabling shorting on margin when bad news comes out about certain projects. They've done this for Matic and VeChain. Now, VeChain had that hack, right? But going long on margin is still allowed and never disabled if good news comes out. Now, I think this is wrong for two reasons. I'll tell you the first reason. That is, in my view, manipulation. If bad news comes out and you want to short, you should be able to. Right? But you can only long if bad news comes out. That's really weird, number one. And number two, this goes way back before we even have these things on margin, is we shouldn't even be trading these types of altcoins on margin. They are way too illiquid. And for example, you saw what happened to Matic the other day, right? So number one, I disagree with Binance doing this. And number two, I don't even think you should be trading margin on anything that is not Bitcoin. Just my opinion. But if they do this to more coins, it's going to turn into a shit show, guys, and you're going to see what's going to happen. But That being said, I don't want to be all doom and gloom. Brave Browser, the number of Brave Browser publishers has finally crossed 350,000, so this is awesome. This just shows that people are getting on board, more publishers, more. I'm a verified publisher, by the way, if you guys didn't know that. So this is really cool to see something like this, a real working product that people are actually using. So if you guys haven't checked out the Brave Browser, I do have a link below. I am a verified publisher. You guys don't have to watch these ads, which is pretty cool. And I'm not sure, but I think they still give you $5 of tokens for signing up to use on the platform. Could be wrong. Not too sure about that. But like I said, I am a verified publisher if you guys want to check that out. Also talking about Cardano, the incentivized testnet has gone live, already staking 5.4 billion ADA, representing about 17% of the coin supply. IOHK also announced that over 120 staking pools went online during the first day of operation, well on its 1,000 pool target. But we do have some not so good news. After BottlePay's shutdown announcement last week, 2 more European cryptocurrency firms have shut down due to the anti-money laundering rules in the European Union. So, online crypto gaming platform Chopcoin and mining pool Simplecoin both announced that they are shutting down. Both cite that the EU's upcoming anti-money laundering directive would require them to know their customer, and so that's essentially why they're shutting down. Which is interesting because, you do want to do KYC, right? So you know who the customers are, but at the same time, you want everything decentralized. So it's kind of back and forth, guys, but I definitely have to end on this story. Bernie Sanders could pave the way for massive Bitcoin adoption. Okay. Essentially, they're saying because he announced his plan to provide universal high-speed internet to everyone in the United States. This is a $150 billion plan. Obviously, if everybody has high-speed internet, well, then that would make it a lot better for, things like Bitcoin. And he does say that high-speed internet or internet in general is essentially a basic human right, which you got to admit, guys, approaching 2020, it kind of almost is a basic human right at this point. But that being said, guys, we do have a Ledger Nano S to give away. So we had 7 videos last week, 1 for every day of the week. So we got to do 1 out of 7. Let's generate. So number 5. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is Friday's video. Right. Copy this. Oops. Go over here. All right, guys. This is for the Ledger Nano S. Let's see, we have 556 unique comments. Drum roll, please. Not sure if mining in China being centralized is a good thing. That means the government can mine almost the rest of BTC out there and hold them, giving a centralized system, possibly owning a large portion of decentralized coin, market manipulation possibility, or Bitcoin price control. That is a very good point, Monk Demand. If you do have China centralizing the mining, they are getting the majority of the coins, and then what are they going to do with it? Are they going to hold it, dump it? Interesting, right? Kind of interesting. Wow, now that I think about that. So I wonder if they will hold it. I mean, that is a problem, and that's exactly why we brought that up. It is an issue. It is an issue. So you are the winner of the Ledger Nano S. Not sure if you care to win it or not, but you can respond if you want. You can hit me up in my official About section or in the Telegram right here. No other way. I will not contact you in the comments below. That's not me. If anybody tries to hit you up, it is a scammer. That's it for me, and if you don't claim it, well, then tomorrow we'll just do another drawing like we always do, but that's it for me, guys. Let's have actually a look at Bitcoin, see what Bitcoin's trying to do. It's still trying to push up. We're trying to push up, but we're probably going to get hit right here again. Hold on. Let me zoom in and see where. Yeah, see, look, we're right there, guys. We're right there. So I think by the time this video comes out, it's probably going to look totally different. But that being said, I do have to still edit it and put it out. So by the time you see this, could be a totally different Bitcoin price. But that's it for me today, guys. Back on the grind. It is Monday. Enjoy the start to your week. My name is K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto and peace out.